December 17th. I got my window done yesterday, but I'll discuss that later. I just wanted to bring it up at the beginning because that was a huge thing on the channel and it finally happened. So yeah, but more about that later. Aside from that, just wanted to say I'm glad to be back. I missed yesterday's stream because of this thing. The guys who put the window in, they came very early in the morning, and they walked until later the day, maybe 2 p.m. 2 p.m. maybe. And yeah, I just had to stay with them, keep an eye on them, because the Mika and Kami were sitting under the bed and were scared. So I was at least there to keep an eye on everything. So yeah, but today I'm back and I want to do some stuff here. Just need this thing here somewhere in the picture to make it more celebrationary. This is okay. So I brought different seedlings where I want to discuss everything, and I would start. So let me just sort everything here. Once again, I brought 4 different pots that I want to check on air. Boink. Okay, nice. See, and this is how the pumice is constantly flying around when I'm working outdoors. Pumice and mineral medium, it's just everywhere. Okay, so here's a plant that I brought from the greenhouse. And I just want to start off by saying it has problems. I noticed that it has some sort of fungal infection, and I really wanted to discuss it on the channel. But first, I will cleaning up here the oxalis that has dug itself into the pot. Not that oxalis is a huge problem, but it creates humidity. And in this case, you already have a plant that has humidity problems. So yeah, removing everything that can trap humidity, removing even the tag, just to give it more, a better chance for the water to evaporate. Welcome to my stream, guys, by the way. Great to be back today after missing yesterday. So yeah, I brought a plant from the greenhouse. This is a hybrid involving TS 126. That's a ragged flowering Huasha hybrid by Thomas Stöfer, and crossed with Lubivia, so multi-hybrid kind of stuff. And it's grafted. So yeah, apart from that, it was growing good, but I noticed that the skin has got these discolorations there, and I wanted to inspect it. At least inspect it on the channel to be sure that this is okay. And in my opinion, this is not okay. This needs to be somewhere where the humidity isn't so high. Welcome to the stream, guys. Great to have you around. Just talking this about this kind of thing here, this plant that I brought from the greenhouse. It has skin discolorations on a few different spots, and I'm currently thinking about what we will do. There are too small ones to kind of remove them. There are 1 or 2 that we will clean up, where we will just clean up the wound here. And that's where I feel like it could become an infection, like a really bad infection. So I'm usually removing dead skin, that kind of stuff, taking out the really bad spots where I feel like they will be the starting point for a fungal infection later on, for a bigger one. These little spots here, if I keep this plant in the right setting, they will heal. Hey, welcome to the stream. Great to have you around. I brought a plant from the greenhouse and I'm just talking it through. There are a few problems here and there, spots where that are probably the result of a fungal infection. So yeah, just cleaning everything up a little bit so we can put it into a heated area where the humidity doesn't cause this to come back right away. Hey mate, greetings to New Zealand. Great to have you around. I guess the time zone's pretty, like, it makes it easier for people from Australia and New Zealand to participate in the stream, and I love that. That's great. So great to have you around. Thank you. So I'm just removing the worst kind of spots here, but long term, I believe this just needs to be in a different environment. If I would put this thing into the greenhouse again, it would be gone within short time. And there's a limit at how many tiny holes you can create here. If an infection is over a wider area, then yeah, you often first need to improve the environment. They need to be in a lower humidity, and then there's a chance that it will heal. Ideally, I would put this thing under a plant lamp, under a grow lamp. That instantly reduces the humidity and makes it easier for this kind of stuff to heal. So yeah, unfortunately, the only thing that we can do right now, apart from having taken out a few infections here and there, is to move it to a better place. If I would put it into the greenhouse again, it would be gone within short time. This is just the type of stuff that you can heal by just creating the right setup. Okay, so here's another one. These are seedlings, and I want to transplant them because I noticed that there's a lot of problems with them. The soil that they were in, it's just too organic. So now I brought a little bit of washed pumice here in a bag, and I will transplant them into this. Hey mate, welcome to the stream. Great to have you around. So yeah, a lot of different seedlings here, and I noticed that a lot of the smaller seedlings, they are still in the organic soil, and that can really be difficult if they are wet for too long. So what I will do now is I will probably take them out of this soil here. You can see it's still wet, and right now the temperatures are very cold in the greenhouse. It's just not the right temperature to have the soil this wet. So what we will do is we will get some of the washed pumice and split these up into two different containers, because there are too many to put them into one. These will get bigger and bigger, and at some point the quality of space in the pot will just be too bad. They will just not make it, and they will single themselves out just because the space there's not enough space. So best transplant them early, single them out. Okay, I think two containers with washed pumice will be enough. I don't want to have them in too big of pots, but this is going to be all right. Just a little bit like a glove, so I don't have to go through the fertilized soil and all that. You never know, sometimes there's pesticides in the soil. Okay, so I will clean every seedling up here and we'll stick them into the washed pumice. This thing here is just a container, so I don't have too much soil spill here. This is just where I put everything in that I'm currently inspecting. And this time I'm inspecting a little block of seedlings that I brought from the greenhouse. I had noticed them that they didn't look good in the soil. The soil was too wet, took too long to dry. So I decided to transplant them, and that's what I'm doing now. Later, when I'm done with these, I have two more containers that I will put in this thing, where we will just look at the plants and decide what they need. That's something that I want to do a lot more in the future, just bringing in something interesting and discussing what we can do. So yeah, I'm currently transplanting the seedlings from this organic soil here, and it was just sowing soil. And it's from the cross, let me see, a cross with AKS 2015 71 HSK4. That is a long number, but the seedlings that the mother plant is really nice. Very good kind of flower, Pseudolobivia hybrid. And I'm transplanting these because I really want to see all the seedlings from that cross. Because this is the type of, you really need to be aware of the good crosses that you have, and focus on them. See a lot of potential in this cross, so I want to, the sooner we single them out, the better. Now that it's getting colder, if the roots are constantly wet, you will lose the seedlings one after the other. And you will see long term the seedlings in this kind of washed pumice, they will do great. It's just a good medium for cacti. How much does a seed cost? Normally, when you buy cactus seeds, you buy them in smaller bags of maybe 20, 30 seeds, 30 to 100, and breeders usually charge like, I don't know, $5 for a bag of seeds, something like that. So you never really buy one seed, because the cactus seeds are so small. But yeah, $5 to $10. Some of the more expensive crosses can even be more than that. But I wouldn't pay that, to be honest. As a breeder, the moment you work as a breeder, you have so many seeds. With every order that I got when I was still selling seeds, I gave away twice as much. At some point, you don't know what to do with all the seeds anymore. I mean, I filmed most of the crosses that I did in 2025, and I think we got maybe 200 fruits, 200 cactus fruits, and a lot, and they are often full of seeds. So yeah, don't spend too, but sometimes it can be worth it to buy a really good kind of cross, but I wouldn't pay excessively for that. Okay, so I'm just sticking them into the washed pumice right now, giving them a little bit more space. And here's a seedling that I got where you can see that it's already, I'm not sure if it's visible in that kind of camera mode, but it already has a fungal infection at the base just from being in too wet soil for too long. Does it need a specific climate to grow? Sure. I would say that rain, the amount of rainfall that you have, plays a big role in it. If you want to grow them outside, if you want to grow cacti outside, most of them do not do well in rain. So for one, it should be a country where when it rains, it doesn't go much below maybe freezing, actual freezing point of water. The colder it gets, the more difficult it becomes for the cactus root to deal with the humidity that you often have in certain countries too. So a lot of European countries are too cold, are too rainy, but there are exceptions like Spain and Italy. These are great places, or the south of France can be great. But in general, like the colder European countries will not be good enough. There are certain cacti that you can grow outdoors, frost hardy ones, like some certain Opuntia that are pretty frost hardy. or Echinocereus is another genus that can take a lot of cold temperatures, because it comes from country where it's getting colder. So yeah, but in general, I wish I could grow cacti outside. Unfortunately, I have them in a heated greenhouse, and when I say heated, it only heats the greenhouse to a point where it's not freezing, just above freezing, and because otherwise it would be unnecessarily warm. You always look at the country where the cacti are from and how the winters are there, and you try to replicate that. So yeah, this one's all right, but you can really see that a lot of them already have discolorations at the roots from the constant humidity. You see the problem that we had here with the seedlings, it's exactly the same with plants outdoors. When it's getting really cold, then they can't be super wet in super wet soil. Drainage plays a big part with cacti. Having a good, fast draining soil is really important. So you can really, in order to give them a little bit of, make it easier for them to get through the winter, you can put them in a mineral medium, like pumice, like lava, or a mix of both, because lava alone isn't good enough. And when you have them in a mineral medium, it gets a little bit easier. They just evolved for that a little bit, you know. A lot of cacti are used to having a very fast draining soil where they come from. So yeah, right now I'm cleaning everything from the seeds. I'm cleaning the old soil from the seed, from the roots of the seedling, and then they will be in this. You know, you see, this is a whole different situation where the water, any water that collects on there, being it from just morning dew, humidity, any water will run through it very fast. That will make it much more likely that we will be able to grow them, to like get them to adulthood. Hey guys, I guess I'm back probably. So I switched to my wireless, like the home wireless, and that seems to work down here, but probably not reliably. But yeah, I'm back for now. I had a total outage apparently. Completely, absolutely no reception. At least that's how I experienced it from my side. I'm not sure if you could see me, but I wasn't really seeing anything. So yeah, I seem to be back. So great to be back, guys. Thank you for waiting if you did wait. If not, I completely understand. The mobile reception just went away, so couldn't even really do anything. But now I'm back. I've been cleaning seeds here, and then I want to show you what I did while I was offline. I was just in the middle of repotting, and yeah, let me see. So I repotted the seedlings into the washed pumice, and I want to show you how it looks like now. There you see, I don't want to turn it too much because it's just a very loose medium. If I would turn it too much, it would just fall out of the pot. But now this is in just washed pumice, and the particle size 0 to 0.4 centimeters. It's just the diameter, and everything is washed. It means that any kind of dust that is always included when you buy unwashed pumice, that stuff's just washed out. So you have a very fast draining medium, and it's great for cactus seedlings. And this is a very good cross, so I wanted to put it into a good medium. So yeah, I now have repotted 2 of these pots, and I want to do something else now. I brought more seedlings that I want to discuss. Here's one, and this is a Lobevia seedling. Check it out. And I have seen that in the greenhouse, slugs have eaten little pieces out of it. And that's really bad. Because once you put it in high humidity again, the fungal infection will come back. So I don't want to really do much. I will just clean up the wound here that has that seemed like it would became a little bit infected. And apart from that, this just needs to be in a low humidity environment. So I brought it out of the greenhouse, and this will go on the shelf inside, where I have a little bit heated, like there's a heater right in front of it, and that reduces the humidity by quite a lot. And I will leave it there for maybe 2 months, and then it is calloused enough to go back to the collection into the greenhouses. Right now, with an open wound during winter, that just wouldn't work. The high humidity would just cause an infection, and we would lose the plant. So yeah, for now it would stay indoors, which I hate. I don't want to have too many cacti indoors. They are everywhere else. They are in the garden, in the greenhouses. So I usually only have seedlings inside. But yeah, you just need another area where you can put the plants when you can't keep them in high humidity. So here's a new pot. These are seedlings, and they are already potted in washed pumice. And because of that, you can really see that the soil was good, because otherwise there would be more problems like in the ones that are still in the sowing soil. The only thing that I need to do here's a dead seedling that I want to remove, just a expired little cactus seedling. And I always remove that to decrease the chance of fungal infections. And now I clean everything up here, just removing the oxalis and any kind of grass stuff that is growing in the pot, just cleaning everything up to increase the drainage, to improve the soil's ability to be fast draining, to give away the water fast. And apart from that, these are looking good. They have already been repotted into the washed pumice, and in this medium you just don't have problems with root rot so oftenly. So yeah, these can go into the greenhouse again. Just clean them up a little, remove the dead seedling here and there. But apart from that, they can stay like that. Okay. Now I want to do the seedlings, and I brought this Christmas thing here to bring in the Christmas spirit into the channel. I'm not really religious, but I like these customs. People just like them here, and that's okay for me. So let me see. I want to go through the seedlings now, and I will just discuss everything the way I usually did it. Okay, yeah, these are looking good. Not seeing fungus gnats. Soil is a little bit too wet. I'm not sure if you can see it, but if it looks a little bit waxy, like, you know, shiny, then it's usually too wet. It's important to have the right humidity, that you at least have some oxygen in the soil. The cactus roots, they also need to take in oxygen a little bit, and once you have a soil that is basically a swamp, that's not possible. Okay. Yeah, that's a seedling that just rolled around there. Probably fungus gnat related. We will transplant these. Everything that has fungus gnat problems will be transplanted. But for now, they are a little bit too young. I mean, we could transplant them already, and maybe we should. But they are a little bit too young, actually. So we'll see. But yeah, I think we have to transplant them. I don't like how many of them seem to have no connection to the soil. And when I look here, I see a larvae. We will transplant them now. We will transplant them now. I'm not putting them back into this soil. So let me just get a little bit of washed pumice, getting the trash can again here. And then I will just fill up enough washed pumice so we can transplant these seedlings. I'm so over the fungus gnats are really annoying this year. And apart from that, I just want to say that my window was done yesterday. The big thing for me, this has been a huge subject for me. I've been living without the window for like a couple months or so, more than 1 month definitely. I'm not sure, I didn't really follow the date, but sometime within the last couple of months, my big bathroom window just fell out, and then I had a hole in the wall, a hole in the roof, and when it was raining into the bathroom. Yeah, and it took a while until I found a company willing to repair to replace it. And yesterday, that was finally happening. Yesterday, then they built my new window in, and I was so amazed. You know, it's something so trivial for many people, just being able to look out the window, just basic stuff like being able to see the sun every now and then, you know. So that is really nice. Having a bathroom window again yesterday, it took some time to process. I was watching them while they built everything in. Yeah, and it was just, I don't know. I'm just thankful to have a window again. It's the kind of stuff that you take for granted all of the time, but once it's suddenly missing, you know what you had. So yeah. I also posted a little video of the whole thing. I was so proud that I posted a video, you know, like I think that window has aged me a good year within the last month or two. So yeah, I will transplant the seedlings here. This is the washed pumice, and that's where they will go, because that is a medium where fungus gnats have a problem with. And we will try to make it as bad for them as possible. I don't want to see any kind of fungus gnat anymore. So for now, we'll just take them out of the soil. Later, we will just put them in. I want to focus at taking them out first. And there are so many seedlings that this could be, we might have to split them up into two. Otherwise, you would really have to put them together very closely. Okay. But it's good to know that I also have internet here, like from the wireless, from the landline that I'm using. Because otherwise I wouldn't be online right now. The last streams, the last months of stream, I usually did on the mobile. And the connection was usually pretty consistent, but not today. So yeah, welcome to my stream, guys. I appreciate it. I'm transplanting seedlings because the fungus gnats, just, I had enough of them. I'm tired of having these guys take bite out of the seedlings. So we will transplant everything in a washed pumice. And if we lose a few seedlings here and there, then that's just how it is. There's so many seedlings that we at some point might have to single some out anyways. So we might as well do it right now. There are a bunch of seedlings that already don't have a root anymore. as a direct result of the fungus gnats, these guys just lay their eggs into the soil, and then you have these larvae things crawling around everywhere and munching away the seedlings. But not anymore. Of course, we could try to use a pesticide, insecticide, something like that. But these are very small seedlings. In most cases, they would probably not survive the chemical, whatever it is. You know, you can't even fertilize them in full strength. So everything that you apply needs to be diluted, and once you dilute it to a safe level, it might not anymore be strong enough to take care of the problem. So very often it can make sense to just transplant them in a medium where fungus gnats have a hard time with. And in this case, it's just mineral washed pumice, volcanic mineral, and just great for cacti, great for breeding cacti. Yeah, we will have to split it up. There are just too many seedlings now. So let me get another one. I'm really happy that the reception, that I could kind of go online again. Would have hated to miss the whole stream again after missing yesterday's stream. I just try to have my daily habits. Okay. So yeah, I would just continue to just place the seedlings on top of the washed pumice, and later we would kind of start transplanting them, giving them a little bit of space for each seedling. But for now, I just want to take them out and move them into the new medium. And again, the roots are so tiny that we might very well lose a few just by handling them. But if we wouldn't do it, we would also lose a few here and there from the fungus gnats that are actively eating them. So there's no perfect thing. There's no perfect way to do it. Whatever you do, tiny cacti are just very sensitive, tiny things, very fragile. You look at them the wrong way and you can lose them. Doesn't mean that they are hard, that it's hard to grow cacti from seeds. But there are many mistakes that you can make, and every mistake you make, you will lose some. It's just normal. And again, they need a lot of space, so eventually, sometimes it's for the better when you kind of reduce it to a manageable number of seedlings. You can see now, like this, the seedlings that we had in this little container here, in this little square pot, we now split it up into two. If we had really wanted to give them space, it would have been 3 or 4. And then they are still small. This is just the space that you need at this size. The bigger they get, the more space they need. Eventually, you could have just 5 or 10 different crosses that you try to grow out, and it would already be enough to fill your whole greenhouse. Okay. Yeah, some of them don't have roots. And I personally, I think it's because of the fungus gnats already having caused too much damage. Maybe we can save a few of them, but probably not. Everything that doesn't have a root anymore could be difficult to save. But long term, this is a good medium to have them in. Washed pumice is just a perfect mineral. I like it for growing seedlings, but for nothing else. I mean, of course, it would be great for the larger plants too. But I want to reduce the use of minerals in my whole organization. Okay, yeah, the others, there's some more seedlings in there, but I don't like how they look, so we will leave it at that. This is the label, and I will need to write a new label for the other one, for the new pot that we just potted up here. But let me just clean my pencil here. I've been transplanting with the pencil, and now it looks bad. Okay, so this is from a cross between a hybrid called F. I don't know. This isn't a letter in English. It's the U with little dots above in German. And Goldrose, Goldrose, Hartmut Kellner hybrid. And these are from a Uwe Kahle cross from 2023, 183. Okay. So now both of them have their labels written with pencil in case any kind of pesticide or something like that removes the label if it's written with a text marker kind of thing. Okay. So now I will just use the pencil to transplant the little seedlings, to just give them solid connection to the soil, to get them inside into the washed pumice carefully. And this step is exactly as you need to be as careful as you had to be in the first step where we take them out of the soil. And this is equally as dangerous for the seedlings as the other thing to do. They are just very small. In this age, you can already transplant, but I personally try to avoid it. The smaller they are, the easier it is to break off the little root. The good thing about washed pumice is that it is in structure a little bit roundish, so you can easily put something in it, and the washed pumice will just make space. It will just, allow the seedling to be moved in. Okay. This will take a while, and when we're done, this will go inside into a closed bag again. Same kind of bag size. We will probably not be able to use the original bag. I often try to reuse it, but in this case, there could be the little fungus gnat larvae just being somewhere in the bag, and I really don't want to bring them back. It's definitely possible that there's always a little bit soil that is left on the seedling because you can't clean them up too well. So if there's a little bit soil left, there's always the chance that you transplant a little fungus gnat larvae into this new medium. But since it's so mineral, it shouldn't be a problem. They might still be able to damage one or two seedlings, but they would just not be able to replicate the same way they do in an organic soil like this one. Normally, when you have fungus gnat problems in a greenhouse, for example, you usually deal with it by letting the soil dry out. But since these seedlings are so small, they are so young, you just can't let the soil dry out without risking to lose the seedlings. And that is what makes them so dangerous for seedlings, because you are caught in a situation where you would love to just take them out, let it dry, and once the fungus gnats are gone, just continue. And you can do that with larger seedlings, but not with something of this size. They have maybe 1 month of of energy left if you just take them out and don't do much. If you take them out of humidity now, and you can do that under a plant lamp, you could do that, but you would have to spray them every day. Daily watering if you take them out of the bag. And in the beginning, in the first 3 to 6 months, cactus seedlings need a lot of humidity. People always think of cacti as these water-hating things, water-hating plants, but they aren't. In the beginning, they just need a lot of humidity. And the older they get, the less that is a huge thing. Older cacti can take more drought. They can also take more water, like when it's raining, when you have too much water. But in this early stage, they can take neither. They cannot take too much drought, and they cannot take too much, like when they are grown in a swamp. Drainage is extremely important for them. And with the way we are doing this here, this is looking pretty good. I mean, you can barely see the seedlings probably in the video, but they're just looking great. It looks like it's supposed to be. So we will close this up again soon. I'm almost done here. Just trying to get all the seedlings to have contact with the soil, in this case with the pumice, because they need a way to take in nutrients. If you have the roots in the air, they might take in a little bit, but that's not how it's supposed to be. And long term, you would lose the seedling probably. So, and now that we move it into the pumice, we might have to fertilize soon. Hey, I'm back. I'm online again. I was able to connect to the wireless internet in the house, because the mobile would probably still be offline. I was just talking and didn't even realize that I was offline for a while. But yeah. Okay, so this will go into a new bag. I'm pretty sure that we can shake off the fungus gnats every time we do this. But it's just a lot of work to do it for every container. So far we have maybe 100 containers, and let me say maybe 25% has fungus gnats somehow. So it's a lot of repotting work, especially when you have to transplant them and have to like add another pot, because the amount that you have suddenly takes more space. Okay. I really hope I can get some of the seedlings from this cross to adulthood, because this is a good cross. Everything that has Goldrose by Hartmut Kellner, I really like that hybrid. And it's very useful for hybrid breeding. I've seen some very, very good follow-up hybrids with it. So having one here, this one, would be really good to save the seedlings. Maybe grow the majority of them. Will definitely, having repotted them, it will definitely increase their chances. So yeah, still transplanting. There are a lot of seedlings that I took out of that other pot. Way too many to be in one pot anyways. But once you start doing it early in the life cycle, it's just a little bit more risky. Sometimes it makes sense to just leave the seedlings alone and do the transplanting when they are a little bit bigger. But in this case, I was just not willing to lose more and more of them to the fungus gnats. We're having what we're having here. I mean, it's life. It's real life situation, because that happens so often when people are growing from seeds. So we will just try to adapt, see what happens, and adapt to it. There's so many different problems that can happen, but we will find solutions for all of them. Here's a seedling that fell into the crack here. And I'm glad that I got it out again, because otherwise you have a seedling that's kind of rotting where you don't see it. And I mean, these seedlings, they aren't big, but it can definitely bring a fungal infection into a container that would otherwise be all right. They don't have a lot of biomass that can really cause a huge thing, but it could already be enough to lose a seedling here and there continuously over time. And if we can avoid it, we rather not. No, thank you. Okay, I think I have them all in the soil a little bit. And sometime soon we will start fertilizing, and we will fertilize them with a very mild kind of fertilizer. 1/5, I'm thinking something like that. 1/5 of the concentration that we would usually use. Okay. This is good. So now we have 2 of them. And if we continue to grow them a little bit more, maybe another year, then you need to have 5 or 6 just for this one cross. And that is a good example how much space you need when you are growing cacti from seeds, or when you're growing anything from seed, actually. So, okay. I'm very happy we could at least solve one of those problems here. I have 7 more that we need to transplant, but I want to do it every time. Every day we will take 1 or 2 and do that, and do those. I don't want to overdo it, because we have so much other stuff to do. Okay, yeah, here, seedlings again. In this case, healthy seedlings. Potted a little bit too deep, but that's it. Hybrid cross by Uwe Kahle with Caesar La. Nice looking seedlings and all. Closing up again right away. Next one. In one of the next episodes, we will start sowing out the kiwi seeds. I have placed some kiwi seeds in the freezer in order to give them a cold treatment. I think the word is stratificate. At least that's close to it. And yeah, they've gotten a little bit of winter experience where I put them in a wet paper towel in the freezer. And sometime soon we will start sowing the seeds out. I want to grow kiwi, and I have never done it before. We'll see. These are looking great. Uwe Kahle seedlings, all growing, having nice spines and all, like a good cactus is supposed to have. Closing this up again. Everything nice. I like that. So next one. These are tiny, very small seedlings, very young. One seedling looking very bad. I don't know. This just doesn't look good. And it's a Lobivia cross with Born to be Wild. I think I will put in a little bit more water, but just a few drops. Really just a little bit. I try very hard not to overwater seedlings, because you have them in a closed container and you already have some humidity. You do not need excessive water. It just needs to be enough to keep the soil wet a little bit, so that the root doesn't dry out completely. Okay. Always happy to take questions, by the way. If you are sowing out at home, I'm happy to help. If not, I'm just going through the containers again of the seedlings that we grew. The seedlings are completely different every time. Very often Sörensia hybrids, Echinopsis hybrids, Lobivia hybrids, everything that could have a nice flower. Sometimes I'm also sowing out botanical seeds, but in many cases it's hybrids. And these are Lobivia winteriana, everything looking great so far. Not seeing any problems, not seeing fungus gnats. Closing it up again. Don't want to mess around with it if it's all right. Don't fix anything that's not broken. Okay. These are looking good. One appears to be a little bit crooked in position, but I don't think it's fungus gnats. Looking okay. Also starting to be at maybe 3-4 weeks of age. We have grown a lot, and we're getting to the point when you can actually see growth in front of us. So this one here, it's a little bit a mixed bag. You can see that there are some small seedlings that are lying on the ground there, and these are too small. They don't seem to have the right size that a healthy seedling would have at that age. So I would say we will try to move them a little bit to give the root a better connection to the ground, just in case that is what's causing the delay in development. But we need to be ready to take those out. Every now and then you have seedlings that are super tiny, that are just that will never grow into a normal seedling because they are they shouldn't have even come up. They are just a little bit like there was life in it, but not enough. Like life in the seed corn, but not enough to really grow into a healthy seedlings. That happens sometimes. That happens especially when you don't sort out the flat kind of seeds that I'm always taking out of them, out of the seeds that we're sowing out. Not every seed will grow into a healthy seedling. And you need to be able to make the distinction. So I now kind of move them a little bit so their root has a little bit connection with the soil. But if that doesn't help, within the next 3 weeks, we will take them out of here. We will just let them be with the wind, gone with the wind, if they don't continue to grow. This is basically their last chance that I give them. And there are a few that are tiny, like really tiny. I would take these out right away. When I feel like something looks like it's 5 times smaller than a healthy seedling, that is usually not a good thing. I can see them growing into a cultivar and something rare, but very often they're just not healthy enough to do that. So yeah, closing this up again. This is a Hilde Winterer hybrid, by the way, which instantly explains why the seedlings look so weak. Just a genetic bottleneck. Okay. Maybe a few drops of water here and there. And then I'm closing it up again. Okay. By the way, the official water can of the channel, it leaks. It leaks everywhere. It's total garbage, but it's just part of the channel. One of us. Okay, next one. This is also A lot of small seedlings, but these are looking like they might have a chance. There was a lot of additional germination after I've inspected this the last time. I feel like we are meeting the right temperature for inducing germination again after not having met it for a while. It's just not easy to always guarantee having the temperature at like 29 degrees Celsius inside a room when you grow your seedlings. When I induce germination on the heater, I have them press against the heater to get them to come out very fast, to wake up, so to speak. And the further you are away from the heater, the more difficult it gets to guarantee that you are meeting the temperature requirement that you need to induce the germination. So yeah. And just by putting them under a grow lamp, you can already produce some sort of heat, some sort of temperature that can be enough. These are looking great. Uwe Kahle hybrid from a Walter Stocker mother plant. Flying Dragon Cantora 1433 crossed with Caesar La. Nice. This is good. This is really nice. I like it. Flying Dragon and Cantora, good combination. And then you throw in the color with Caesar La. Has potential. You never know how a cross will come out, but I can see that working out. I think there was a fungus gnat right now. I hate it. Yeah, I see one. Like I see a larvae being a disappointment walking around in my pot. Yeah, so we will transplant these two. I will put this aside, but not now, not today. I will move these aside and we will do them in the next days, one after the other. Christmas spirit is back. Okay, so what do we have here? Uwe Kahle seedlings. Healthy, looking great, no fungus gnats, no lost seedling. So I will just close it up again. I can't believe that I have a window again, guys. I'm so happy. It's just instantly a different kind of feeling when you are living in a house where you have a window that is basically nailed shut. That gives you that kind of, I don't know, it's a very different kind of life. Okay, so here a lot of seedlings that have just come up. Just new seedlings, not long ago. And also, a lot of them have come up since we last opened this bag. I remember having looked into this bag and being disappointed because there were so few seedlings, not enough seedlings, you know? It just takes a lot of work and space to grow cacti, and when you have a container where you only have one seedling, that already disappoints me. They're already, every time I look into that container, I'm disappointed in the cross. So it's always good to see that some of them are coming finally now after a while. These are also looking great. Uwe Kahle seedlings from another Walter Stocker Flying Dragon Cantora plant. That's the mother and the father. Also Caesar La. And I mean, I've shown 3 or 4 mother plants from Flying Dragon Cantora, and they were all great. I like them all. Big flowers, nice body, fast growing. They are even everything with Flying Dragon that I have seen They were growing so fast that you didn't even need to graft them. They had a much better grow speed than most of the grafting stocks. So it makes no sense to put it on a on something that might eventually slow it down. In the beginning, within the first year, you have a little bit more. You have more growth speed once you put it on a grafting stock, and if it works. But long term, I try to grow the Flying Dragon hybrids on their own roots because they just have a impressive growth speed. Uwe Carlecross looking great. Not seeing a lot of problems. I see a little bit of moss, a little moss species that is that has come up, but not a problem. I will close it up again. Next time, if the moss is still the same size, then we're not doing anything. If it should at some point start to grow rapidly, taking away the light from the seedlings, then we do something. But for now, I'm not bothered by moss. Oh, what is going on here? Oh, this looks terrible. No matter what, we need to do something here. Check this out. So you can see that the spots that are white, that's fungal infections. I'm not sure what happened here, but something happened here. And this is really bad. So we can't leave them in this soil. I can tell you, and I would normally put this thing aside and say we will do that next time. I can't even wait for that. We need to do it now. So one more that will go into washed pumice, because this is the kind of fungal infection you will not get rid of that in the old soil anymore. You would either have to transplant them into a new soil, like the same kind of soil, or go with a mineral medium. And in this case, we are going with the mineral. And I always have the washed pumice in a bag because I want to keep it moist. I don't want to have it dust all over my stuff. Whoa! There's a worm. There's a little rain worm. I don't know how it got there, but I will bring it out later. I will just put it into this container here. Come here, my friend. You can't stay here. Okay. Yeah, there's a little rainworm here. Every now and then they get into the washed pumice, and it's not a problem. It's okay. I will just bring it out into the garden later. But until then, we will just transplant these. So here's a seedling where you can already see that the base is discolored. You could try saving it by grafting, by putting this thing on a grafting stock, like removing the infected base and then grafting it. I don't think that we're doing that. I will put it aside, but just know that you have that option. So now I will take out the seedlings. Everything that's in there will go into the washed pumice now. And in this case, we will need to split it up too. You instantly need more space. Something must have happened in this container, either being fungus gnats or the temperature was too hot. Maybe we kind of had a day when the temperature was so high that a few seedlings expired. And the fungal infection that we're seeing now is basically a result of the high temperatures. You know, you can easily lose seedlings when the temperatures are too high and too low. On both sides of the spectrum, any kind of extreme should be avoided. So now I would try to transplant them into washed pumice, and that would eventually solve both problems. It will solve the problem in case it's caused by fungus gnats, And it will solve the problem that the soil is so fast draining that it will reduce all kind of fungal infections to a minimum. We might still see some of the fungal infections that have already started. They will continue to come out and will eventually maybe claim a few seedlings here and there, but most of them will be all right once they are in a different medium. I really believe something is wrong here, because there's just too much loss of seedlings within too short of a time. Something must have gone wrong here. So when I'm transplanting now, I try to remove as much soil as I can. I just don't want to bring the fungus gnats with into the new medium. They would still have a problem in that medium, but I don't like it. I just want to avoid any kind of... I want to do everything that I can to prevent problems. That is basically everything we do here. Just preventing problems. Doing unnecessary work often in order to prevent problems, because they are just so hard to heal once you have them. A fungal infection on a seedling is often terminal. So, okay. And again, always happy to take questions if you want to know something that I'm doing. If you have a problem and need help, happy to help. I'm always saying that because that is the goal of my stream, to also allow people to do it on their side of the world, wherever they do it. Because growing from seeds isn't easy. People often say that, but I'm really not. I don't think that's true. You really have to have a lot of experience to know how to do it right. And there's always people who tell you stuff like they have great experience with something that they tried and that worked for them, but the same might not work for everyone. It might not work for you where you live. Okay, I need another one here because the container's already full here. Okay. I hate it. I really hate it. These looked so great last time. But within just a few days, everything has gone downhill here. That shows you how important it is to constantly look for problems, constantly open them up. If something like this happens and you don't notice it right away, you will have a fungal mess within a week. I'm overdoing it a little bit on the channel just to demonstrate it every time. But it's really true that you need to look into them, need to open them up, assess every container separately. Everything where fungal infection starts at that age will be hard to save. It's not impossible, but we keep them in high humidity because the seedlings need high humidity. And in that environment, a fungal infection just thrives. Okay. Yeah, there are a lot of seedlings in there. I hope that the space will be enough with the 2 containers. We could basically just pot them in a third one, and we would still have it would still be close together. I need to grow less seedlings, I guess. What's the kind of cross again? Yeah, this is a Uwe Kahle cross, but I have no idea how the parents look like. I just see when I look at the label like this, I see the number, the breeding number, the breeder's code and all, but not how the parents look like. I don't know them. It's just numbers. So we would just grow them. We would treat them as if they were the best thing ever, because that's very often how this stuff comes out. These are good seeds, so it makes sense to grow a lot of them. This is a lot of work. Yeah, most of the seedlings are all right. I was a little bit worried, because when you have a fungal infection that's coming up at different spots, you might have something going on a larger scale, but in this case, probably not. Here's a comment about someone having planted 150 seeds last week, then put them in a tent setup, and the worry that they have gotten too much heat with the heat mat. In my opinion, the moment you have when you induce the germination, when you don't have seedlings yet, they can take a lot of heat. There's certainly a point when the heat is just too much, but in many cases, the really heat problems come later on. Once you have seedlings like that, once they are a little bit bigger, it's definitely possible that whatever heat map you have used might have been too much heat mat. So I would just continue like normal. I mean, you will have to, when you move them, you have to make sure that wherever you put them, that the temperature is consistently high enough, like with the heat mat before. But apart from that, I don't think a little bit too much heat in the beginning is that big of a deal. The worst case scenario that could happen is that the heat is too much for the seeds to germinate. It wouldn't instantly make the seeds unviable either. I mean, it takes a while for the seeds to be heated so much that they aren't viable anymore. I don't think that's the case very often. So yeah, let me know how it went, like in the next couple of weeks or so. Just make sure you meet the right temperature, because that is often difficult. Like where we did it, the temperature in front of the oven, it was so hot and it wasn't really doing anything. The seedlings were germinating. Actual seeds take a lot of heat. Later on, once you have the seedling, they are super sensitive. Like once the temperature with the seedlings in a closed bag like this, once the temperature goes over 32, then you can already lose them. And you will not notice that it was from the heat. You will suddenly realize that here's a dead seedling, there's one that you lost, that is just gone. But it will be hard to actually prove that it was the heat damage. But very often that's what brings out sudden spikes, sudden fungal infections. Very often, if you look closely into this thing, you realize that the temperature was just too hot for too long. So yeah, I'm trying to just split the seedlings up here in between the two containers that I have. I don't want to use a third, but I actually should. This is going to be pretty busy, like pretty filled up. Yeah, that's the right temperature. 28, 29, 30. The first germinations will already happen around 25 or so. It's not, you don't need the high temperature all the time. You just need these spikes every now and then to kind of wake them up, to let the seeds know that now is a favorable time to start the germination. And when you only have a little high once and then it goes down again, it sometimes isn't enough. They have some sort of inbuilt mechanism to prevent them coming up at times when it's really bad for a seedling to come up. because you always have high temperatures also in winter. Okay, so here's a seedling that really had a fungal infection, and this one here looks like it's okay. But we really need to keep a close eye on these in the next weeks. There will be more seedlings that will slowly disappear, but I don't expect there to be many. Just a few here and there, but that's it. We'll see. We already have too many cacti anyway, so I'm not really worried about that. But of course, when we're filming it, we want to do it right. We're not doing the kind of bad work here. And while I transplanted, I just want to say I couldn't see any kind of fungus gnat in the soil. So my suspicion for the seedlings that we lost here is probably that it was too hot. Of course, the fungus gnats might already be gone, but I don't think they were there. I think this is really heat damage, or maybe even heat and dryness, because the soil looks pretty dry and puffy. Not the perfect humidity. It's not a huge thing, but if the temperature goes high and the soil is dry, then that can happen. So now I will start transplanting them, like moving them into the soil. This is so much work. I hate it. I really hate it. I love growing cacti, but this kind of stuff like potting, repotting, that's not fun. It's fun to induce the germination, to start germinating them, but the moment you have them, they become work. They turn from being a cool thing that just came up, that just sprouted, to something where you have to repot it 100 times. So yeah, but it's part of the game. You get used to it. Here's a seedling that I need to take out. I realized that there's already a little bit of rot at the root. At least that's what I believe. Brown discoloration kind of thing. I really try only to put in the seedlings where I definitely think they have a chance to make it long term. I don't want to put seedlings in that just live long enough to cause an infection. So we are starting to have at least 10 pots that are in the washed pumice already, and there will be more. I'm constantly transplanting, repotting. The more often you transplant little seedlings, the more likely it is that you get them to adulthood. It's just the soil is very fast. It happens very fast that the soil becomes unusable, like where the pH level or anything in the soil is a little bit too bad for the seedling. So it can make sense to change soil sporadically. And in this case, with the washed pumice is a little bit time saving, in the sense that it doesn't spoil so easily. The more organic soil just makes it easier for fungal infections to get a hold in the soil, in the top layer. And then once you have maybe a moss or some algae that is growing on top of the soil, then you very fast can end up with a with a pH level that just doesn't sustain life anymore, or at least not cactus seedlings. I mean, different plants need different setups. And what we grow here is fairly specific, needs good drainage, can't stay wet all the time. I'm almost done, just a few more. And I already know that the fact that we're doing this, we will benefit from that long term. Because otherwise we would constantly open up, like every time we would open up this container, we would talk about all the seedlings that are suddenly gone again. And when you never change something and always talk about it, nothing will really get better. So it's good that we are doing this now. I just hate it, and I want to have it on the record that I hate it. So much work. Okay. This is nice. For the first time now, it looks like a pot with cactus seedling should look like. Nice drainage. They have a little bit more space now, so even if a fungal infection happens, it will not be able to go through the whole pot. It will be limited to where it is, to where the seedling is. I will give it a chance, this one here. Okay, so now the second pot needs a label. And this is KA2430. And the mother is KA18135-4. And the father is a hybrid called Cactus. I don't know what it is. I don't know how it looks like. But every time I'm hearing that Uwe Karle, the breeder, has named the plant, then I trust it enough to know that it is a good kind of flower. So we will grow them. They will get a new bag now, because the old one is just full of fungal infection spores and all that. We want to start fresh, really nice and fresh, nice and clean start. And when we check them, maybe in a week from now, hopefully they will be all right. We'll see how that goes. I mean, at that time, I might not remember what kind of a seedling we talked about today, but I will try to keep this in mind so we see how these will develop long term. Okay, maybe 7 more, and that's how long I would stream. When I'm done with the seedlings, I will end the stream. These have problems with fungus gnat. I can see them on the soil, and I don't like them. But they are too small to transplant them. Maybe another week, and then we try to transplant them. For now, the seedlings look okay. There's one seedling that doesn't look okay, though. I assume that this one has been attacked by the fungus gnats already. I would really love to transplant them, but it's just too early. You can also sow out directly into the washed pumice. I mean, it's an option, but I just tried not to work too much with washed pumice, with any kind of mineral, because you're constantly working with it. You're constantly working with it. You're constantly surrounded by it. I try not to have that. So here, a bunch of moss on the side. You can see it. but it doesn't seem to be growing so excessively that it poses a danger to the seedling. They are looking good. Soil is a little bit too dry. Trying to compact it a little bit more also. Putting in a little bit of water just in case. The soil should be too dry. But that's it. Not seeing anything problematic in here. Okay. Next one. Also, Uwe Kala hybrid seedlings are looking great. Always important to know when there's nothing to do and just close it up again. I don't need to become involved. Very often it's just good when you leave your cacti alone. When I'm not there to disturb the plants, to mess things up, cacti are usually doing great without me. So these will be just closed up again. This one here also a little bit like a little tiny piece of moss up there, but not really anything difficult, problematic. There are too many seedlings in the corner, and that will become a problem later on. But for now, this is good. This is really good. Nice. Okay. 3 more. Okay, these are looking great. Maybe 4 to 5 weeks old. Soil looks a little bit too wet. We might also try to, when we have problems with fungus gnats, we can try keeping the soil humidity as low as possible to make it harder for them to procreate. But for now, it's hard to get the humidity out without leaving it up, like leaving the thing open, and that would bring in more fungus gnats. So for now, we'll just leave it. I'm not seeing any kind of problems in that one. These are Lobivia winteriana seedlings, and they look great, but very young. So they would just need to go under the lamp again. I'm seeing a little insect, like a tiny, I'm not sure how they are called in springtail, I think. Springtail, exactly. So I'm seeing a little springtail, but they aren't the problem. At least not for me. I have no problem when there's a little bit life in the soil. It just shouldn't be that it is something that is actively harming the plant. As long as it's something like a springtail, they are welcome to be there. It's a sign that the soil is healthy. So yeah, last one. A lot of seedlings. I don't like it. I don't want to transplant all of them later. But apart from that, everything good, looking healthy and all. Uwe Kale cross between Sobodo, I don't know, something like that. I can't read my handwriting. But apart from that, it's nice. Healthy seedlings, and those the plants, the containers that we checked now, they will all go under the lamp again, where they would stay for maybe another week until we check them again, until I open them up again. I try to do this repeatedly to have an eye on every problem. I want to see it. If something is happening, I want to be aware of it. And that is the only way to grow cacti, to grow cactus seedlings, to grow anything that is small, tiny, and fragile. You just can't put them somewhere and go away and check on them like a month later. That is not enough. That is that's just the time. And during that time, so much can happen, and we don't want to risk that. Okay, yeah. I mean, we've got a lot of stuff done today. I'm happy that I eventually got online again. To finish the stream was kind of sad to be, to want to go online and have a stream, and I was just not getting any reception here. But yeah, thank you guys for participating in my stream. I appreciate it. I will be back tomorrow, and tomorrow things will hopefully be a little bit more problem free. And yeah, then we will continue checking other seedling containers. I will always rotate the ones around that we didn't check for a week. I always try to give them a little bit of time under the lamp and then check them again. So tomorrow we will just have different kind of seedlings. And then we transplant these here, continue to transplant seedlings into washed pumice, and clean a bunch of seeds tomorrow. For now, we did enough. It was a long day. So thank you for participating. I greatly appreciate it. And if you have any kind of questions, I'm always happy to reply. Just write them in the comments and I get back. Okay, guys, thank you. Thank you for participating. I'll be back tomorrow.